Hey, Seth, David here with another helpful video answer based on the comments from my blogs, various blogs throughout the web. There's the old blog, the new blog, and the newer blog. And Min, that's the name they used, writes in referring to payment processing fees, how to record payment processing fees in QuickBooks. Min says, this is actually the way I've handled credit card payments for my companies in the past. I found that it presents an issue with my newest company, though. And by the way, what Min is referring to is the method that I show in this actual blog post over here on how to record payment processing fees. I explained that the way I prefer to do this is to record the full payment against the customer balance, and then when you go to deposit the payment, you add a line item deducting the processing fees, and of course recording that to credit card processing fees, and that will add the expense that we need in order to account for that, and it'll let the customer get credit for full payment on their invoice, and so everything kind of ties out very nicely that way. So that's the way that I teach it, and I talked in this post and in the video originally about how I may have gone as far as to say the other way is the wrong way. The other way is to, in the body of the invoice, actually use an item for credit card processing fees. And doing it that way. So just to give you context here. So Min is saying this means that the CC fees, I need to be able to pay royalties to a vendor based on the profit from a particular item. This means that the credit card fees need to be tracked back to each individual item sold so that it can be deducted as an expense before calculating the royalty. Doing it, quote, the wrong way would allow me to do that very easily since it is recorded at the point of sale rather than at the deposit. So in other words, using a credit card processing fees item and reducing the amount of the sale on the receipt or the invoice, as the case might be, is what Min is referring to when he or she says the wrong way. And says, however, my preference is to do things correctly. Any thoughts on how to track this expense easily back to the item while still telling the right story? So the reality is, it's fine to do it the other way. There's nothing wrong with it. I just think it's cleaner. This is just my opinion. I think it's cleaner to do it the way I'm describing. But when you want the kind of tracking that you're talking about, then by all means, use that. The only thing I might suggest, and here's what this looks like in QuickBooks real quick. So let's go over to QuickBooks, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's just record a quick invoice here to customer. Go away with the pop-ups. Today. And stuff I sell, and we'll sell it for $3,500. So I got an invoice. I sell something for $3,500. Then I come in, and normally I would say, okay, get a payment from customer and apply this. And now the invoice is closed. Save and close. Then we go to make a deposit. And I know I'm doing this fastest because it's just a recap of what's in the original video. And over here I would say credit card processing fees. And we'll set that up real quick. I like to put that to cost of goods sold because it's kind of a direct selling expense directly against income. Whatever it is, let's just say it's a $335, whatever it is, to process $3,500. Right here, you want it to be more specific, $3,500 times 0.035, 3.5% is what a lot of, okay, there we go. So, and I do this as a negative, and of course this then should match with what I received. So here's what we're talking about. So this is what, is being referred to as, quote, the right way. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting softer in my older age. I wouldn't be as hardlined about this now as I might have been in the past to say that this is the right way. It's a cleaner way, in my opinion. So let's get rid of this. Let's not record the deposit. And let's go back to the invoice. And I'll just quickly search for the amount of $3,500. And let's get rid of my payment. And then we go to my invoice. So instead of doing what I just showed you, we'll create an item called credit card. Let's just call it CC processing. Yes, and what I would do is actually set this up as a discount item, even though it's not really a discount. And this is what Mim is talking about when he or she says, refers to telling the right story. This is what I talk about in the other post, that to me this tells the wrong story because we didn't give a discount. We're being charged a fee. It's two different things, really. But again, sometimes it's a matter of just getting the forms that QuickBooks offers you to do what you need them to do. So this is going to get linked to that credit card processing fees account. And we're going to put that in as the minus 3,500 times 0.035. So we do it this way. Now, the reason I don't love this method is because now my sale is sort of falsely skewed. If you look at the total down here, it says my sale is only $3377.50 when it was really $3,500. So I like having the total show what the true total of the sale was. And by putting a payment item like this in the middle of it, it skews that. So here's what you can do instead if you're like me. I'm inserting 2 lines. Just put a subtotal in there. So at least somewhere in the body of the invoice I can see. Now this, it seems kind of silly because there's only the 1 line item, but if you had 3 or 4 items here, then this subtotal would give you the subtotal of everything above. So at least this way you have that, and then, so somewhere in the body of the invoice you have something that tells you, here's what the true sale totals to. At least you have that much. Then when you record this, you're going to get a payment for the same net amount, which you're going to deposit, and you're done. Time to go home. So that, my friends, is what Mim is talking about here. And so again, the short answer to the question is it's fine. Do it the, quote, wrong way. It's okay to do it the wrong way. It's not wrong. It's just a question of form. It's just a question of how we present the information. And I always like to think in terms of what if a stakeholder, like a banker who's considering giving me financing, is looking at the books and what things can I do to mitigate the chances that they're going to have more questions, right? So to me, the cleaner you can do things, the less chance there is that they're going to ask questions and potentially open up cans of worms, which, you know, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get the financing, but it just could mean it's that much harder to get it. That, my friends, is my story, and I'm sticking to it. As always, I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.